Welcome to this comprehensive training session on SIRE 2.0 Item 5.5.1, focusing on enclosed space entry procedures. This item evaluates if the crew is familiar with company procedures and if entries comply with strict safety standards. Our objective is to ensure that enclosed space entry is always strictly controlled and conducted according to industry best practice. First, let's clearly define what constitutes an enclosed space according to IMO Resolution A1050-27. An enclosed space has limited openings for entry, inadequate ventilation, and is not designed for continuous worker occupancy. Common examples include cargo spaces, double bottoms, fuel tanks, ballast tanks, and even empty void spaces or cofferdams. It also covers engine crankcases, scavenge air receivers, sewage tanks, and any adjacent connected spaces that might be hazardous. Safety begins with a documented risk assessment, conducted by a competent person designated by the company's SMS. This assessment must identify potential hazards, safeguards, and take into account previous cargoes and the structure's condition. No one should enter unless authorized by the master or a nominated responsible person through a valid permit. Atmosphere testing is critical. We must test for oxygen, flammable gases, and toxic vapors like hydrogen sulfide or benzene. Oxygen levels must be steady at 21% by volume. Any level lower than this is considered hazardous for entry. Flammable vapor concentrations must be below 1% of the lower flammable limit before any personnel can enter the space. Toxic gases should be no more than 50% of their occupational exposure limit. Always check for benzene in petroleum tanks. Ventilation is not just a pre-entry step. Fans must continue to operate throughout the entire period of entry. Personnel entering must carry calibrated multi-gas detectors to monitor conditions continuously while they are inside. The entry permit has a clear period of validity, which must never exceed 12 hours according to industry standards. Ensure the permit is signed by the master, the attendant, the person entering, and the supervising officer. An attendant must remain at the entrance at all times while the space is occupied, maintaining constant communication. Rescue and resuscitation equipment must be positioned at the entrance before anyone enters the space. This includes breathing apparatus, lifelines, and stretchers, all checked and ready for immediate deployment if needed. For pump rooms, strict control is required. All entries and exits must be recorded, even if a full permit isn't always used. Special attention is needed for ballast tanks treated with chemical management systems. Additional gases may be present. Always check for additional precautions required by your BWMS before entering any treated ballast spaces. Now let's look at what the SIRE 2.0 inspector will focus on during the vessel inspection. The inspector will review enclosed space entry permits from the previous 6 months for both deck and engine departments. They will verify that risk assessments were completed, validity periods were followed, and all atmosphere checks were recorded. Expect an interview. The inspector will speak to a rating to verify their familiarity with entry procedures and roles. They may ask how you were briefed, your duties as an attendant, or the process for signing the entry permit. Common grounds for negative observations include missing risk assessments or the same person approving and entering a space. Never use breathing apparatus as a substitute for proper cleaning and gas freeing. This is a major safety violation. Damaged or poorly maintained rescue equipment at the entrance will also result in a negative observation. In summary, always follow your company's SMS, complete documentation accurately, and never take shortcuts with safety. Thank you for watching this training. Stay safe and ensure every entry is a compliant and secure operation.